Shadows move, and figures appear where they shouldn't. All caught on camera, and it's more than scary. It's truly horrifying. Watch if you dare. If you are a fan of José d'Onfroy, this moment will surprise you. One night, a fan visited his cemetery and stood near the glass door by his resting place. As he looked closer, he noticed a face peeking out from the reflection. It looked exactly like José. At first, he thought it might be the reflection of pictures left by fans near the grave. To be sure, he returned the next morning and checked every photo placed there. None of them matched what he had seen the night before. That made him believe the appearance was real. For some loyal fans, it felt like he still showed special appearances. Black Ritual. A leaked footage recently surfaced online showing that graveyards are not always places of rest. A man was seen holding a cross and lighting candles while playing with a toy that made strange sounds. The person recording the scene panned the camera to a nearby grave and froze. A pale figure was sitting there, completely still, as if it were used to the surroundings. Things grew even more terrifying when the camera revealed a picture of a woman already placed on the grave. It became clear that a black magic ritual was taking place, and the pale figure was a demon invited for dark purposes. It's shocking to think that some people can go this extreme to harm anyone. Phantom soldiers. A man visiting Gettysburg decided to record the historic battlefield, unaware of what he might capture. As he panned his camera across the open field, two figures suddenly appeared, running swiftly across the road. At first, he thought it might be other tourists, but the figures were semi-transparent and moved in a way that didn't match any living person. The footage shocked viewers online, as Gettysburg is known for being one of the most haunted sites in America. Many believe these were spirits of soldiers who never left the battlefield. Watching the video, it feels like the past is running right in front of us. Rising graves. For years, this graveyard had been reported for disturbing activity. A team of paranormal investigators entered at night to document what was happening. As they walked between the graves, they noticed a hand slowly rising from the soil, as if a body was trying to come out. When they moved closer, the hand vanished.
Aqui, ó, pinga, cara do céu.
Ai, meu Deus do céu! Tem negócio branco.
Qual?
Moments later, cloth lifted from another grave and slipped back inside. Fear began to grow. Then pale feet appeared from a third grave, but when they checked, the grave was empty. That moment was enough for them to run for their lives. Later, locals revealed a satanic ritual had taken place there days earlier, disturbing the graves. After that, special prayers were performed to help the souls rest, and the activity finally stopped.
Que é aquilo? Ai, meu Deus do céu.
Meu Deus do céu, cara.
Ai, meu Deus, tem uma mão ali! Tem uma mão ali!
Hã?
Tem uma mão ali!
Cursed doll. A man visited a graveyard after seeing his mother sad in a dream. On her grave, he noticed a baby doll sitting there and thought someone had left it behind. But as he filmed, the doll's eyes seemed to follow his camera. The chilling part came next. It had tiny Dracula-like teeth, and beside it was a feeder filled not with milk, but a red liquid. The man immediately realized something sinister was happening. After finishing the recording, he contacted a priest, who revealed the grave had been used in black magic against his wife. The priest prayed a ritual and broke the curse. Well, truly a terrifying encounter that too, seeing at your mother's grave. Hide and seek. A girl visited her sister's grave and was shocked to see a white mist coming from it. She followed the mist, noticing it appear and disappear repeatedly. Soon, she remembered how her sister loved to play hide-and-seek when they were together. It became clear that the mist was her sister, playfully hiding and showing herself, just like she used to. That gentle presence wasn't frightening. It was a memory brought to life. In that moment, the girl felt her sister's love and spirit, realizing that even beyond life, small joys and connections can still find a way to reach us. Trapped soul. This is one of the scariest videos currently going viral on the internet. A family who had just lost a loved one asked the staff to set up a camera to capture the final moments. At first, everything seemed normal, but then something terrifying appeared. The soul of the person moved inside the body, even though it no longer belonged there. For a brief moment, it stepped out, only to return, looking disturbed and unsettled. Many believe something darker has taken control. It seemed like the soul was trapped between two worlds, neither fully gone nor fully present, struggling to break free. Cursed grave. Some places are avoided for a reason, and this graveyard was one of them. A man visiting the area late in the evening suddenly heard loud screaming sounds coming from one grave.
Господи Боже, как весело звук.
As he moved closer, he noticed the grave was slightly open, and the cries were clear and disturbing. Shocked, he left the place and later informed the caretaker. What made it worse was the caretaker's confirmation. He said the same screaming sounds were heard from that grave almost every day. Locals believe the grave holds a trapped soul, suffering endlessly, as if it never found peace. Angry witch. A group of friends accepted a dare and entered a cemetery late at night. As they moved deeper between the graves, the mood changed. Near an old tomb, a lone woman stood in a dark robe. Her face was hidden by long hair, and a low, disturbing sound came from her direction.
Está toda débil, pobrecita ella. Ay, qué pecado. Mira. Mira.
One friend tried to speak to her. That was a mistake. The woman turned sharply, her voice growing louder and angry. The group ran back without looking behind. It felt less like fear and more like they had interrupted a witch who didn't want visitors. Cemetery trap. A team of ghost hunters decided to explore a cemetery at night, documenting their adventure on camera. At first, everything seemed normal, until one of them stepped into a freshly dug grave to get a better angle. Suddenly, something invisible grabbed his shirt and pulled him down. He struggled and managed to get out. But the nightmare didn't end there. While describing the terrifying event on camera, an unseen force dragged him backward. After that night, none of them dared return. The cemetery had shown them it didn't welcome intruders. Rushing ghost. This old footage still confuses people to this day. In 1966, a group of people were walking inside a cemetery while someone recorded the moment on a basic camera. Nothing felt strange at first. Then, by complete accident, the camera captured something moving across the frame. A dark, transparent figure suddenly appeared, rushing past the group and vanishing within seconds. At that time, there was no video editing, no effects, and no internet to fake clips like this. The footage was later colorized, but the original recording stayed the same. Looked like a ghost caught at the wrong moment. Talking spirit. In August 2019, a couple visited a cemetery rumored to hold the grave of a slave who was said to speak to anyone who called him. As they walked through the graveyard, they searched carefully for the grave and asked the spirit if they were standing in front of it. To their surprise, they received a clear reply.
Very neat area.
Right? Whole different energy.
You hear the kids at the elementary school.
He said no, and even gave them his name.
The slave?
The interaction was caught on video, and it quickly went viral online. People were fascinated by the direct communication, and the footage sparked curiosity and debate about spirits that can respond to visitors in such a precise and personal way.
Do you hear the children playing? Yep.
Cursed skinwalker. Paranormal investigators entered an abandoned site near an old cemetery, a place locals avoided after sunset. While scanning the area, their camera caught a creepy figure watching them from above the building. The appearance matched old descriptions of a skinwalker. Witnesses believe it could be the cursed soul of someone who once performed dark rituals there and passed away during one of them. Now, that soul is said to remain trapped, haunting anyone who dares to step into the area and reminding visitors why the place was abandoned in the first place. Kuntilanak sighting. A farmer's field had long been rumored to be haunted by spirits, but no one took it seriously until one night when he decided to check it himself. As he walked through the crops, the air felt heavy and silent. Suddenly, his camera caught a female figure standing still in the dark. Her eyes burned with a fiery glow, fixed directly on him. The face closely resembled the famous Indonesian spirit, the kuntilanak. The farmer froze, unable to move or scream. At that moment, he understood the rumors were real, and some places do not let you leave unchanged. White figure. Two friends were hanging out in a building next to a graveyard when something caught their eyes. From the window, they saw a figure dressed entirely in white, slowly moving among the graves. At first, it seemed like she was just wandering, but soon they noticed she was stopping at each tombstone, gently touching them as if searching for someone.
Yo, that is creepy as... What the f***? What happened? What's she doing? Why she touching other people's graves?
Curiosity turned to fear when she moved behind a large tombstone and vanished without a trace. No one saw her leave or reappear. Some say she might have finally found her own resting place. Whatever it was, it disappeared as mysteriously as it came.
Yo, Mo, she's gone, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone. Nah, fuck, hold up. We gotta find her.
Biker haunting. Near a small village, there was an ancient graveyard that people avoided at night because strange, scary voices were often heard. But a group of bikers decided to break the rules to prove there was nothing to be haunted by. Excited, they rode into the graveyard, eager to challenge the stories. Just moments after entering, a figure appeared ahead, a woman with long, dark hair covering her face, standing completely still. The sight was enough to freeze them. The video ended abruptly as the bikers panicked. Later, what came out was alarming. Only one managed to escape. Well, it's never a good idea to challenge these entities out of curiosity. Otherwise, the price could be your life. Screaming grave. A gravedigger began digging a fresh grave late in the day when sudden screaming sounds rose from inside the pit. He froze. No one had ever been buried there before, and the ground had been sealed for years. The screams grew louder, echoing from beneath the soil, sounding angry and desperate. Terrified, the man dropped his tools and ran. Locals later claimed the land was already claimed by something unseen, something that didn't want to be disturbed. Whatever lived there had made one thing clear: the grave was never meant for the deceased alone. Animal vigil. A girl on TikTok shared a strange activity happening at a small graveyard near her family home. Her grandparents were buried there, along with their beloved cats.
So this was my grandparents' ranch. before my mom inherited it, so I live here with.
Over time, she noticed something unusual. Cows kept coming to the graves and staying there for hours, even though her family did not own any cows. This did not happen once. It became a daily routine.
Like, why? They just kind of come and really graze.
What made it more touching was that the family dog also stayed near the graves, quietly sitting beside them, and they kept visiting them.
Josie. Josie, what's going on?
Others felt the grandparents were kind to these animals, and they still came to show they were missed. Whatever the reason, it felt like a gentle and emotional moment. Burning tree. It was just another day for a worker at a graveyard, but what he saw left him stunned. A tree was on fire, but strangely, it was only the inside of the tree burning. The outside remained untouched, perfectly normal. The flames glowed within, flickering as if something was alive inside. Soon, the video of the incident went viral, and people began sharing theories. Some said it was a gateway opening for bad souls to enter hell. Others believed a dark force was at play, something beyond explanation. Curiously, the fire never appeared again after that day. What really caused it? Well, you decide. Coffin message. Residents were left in shock when a mysterious coffin appeared on a grave in Rumuodara, Port Harcourt, River State. At first, people thought a neighbor involved in black magic had done it, but the grave had shown no signs of digging. It had been normal just before. The truth was stranger. 20 years earlier, a man had sold his father's grave land. Villagers believed the coffin was a sign of anger from the deceased, a message demanding the land be returned. It wasn't a threat, but a cry for justice. Once the grave was restored and the coffin placed properly, it never appeared again. Empty graves. This video went viral in 2019 and is considered one of the scariest graveyard recordings ever. People in Thailand visited to pay respects to their loved ones, only to find graves open and empty. There were no bodies inside. The sight left everyone shocked and terrified. Soon, many began connecting the incident to religious beliefs, saying it could be a sign of the second coming of Jesus, when both the living and the deceased will rise. If that interpretation is true, then some believe these events might be just the beginning. Well, if so, it seems we don't have much time left. Pokong Spirit. A worker was digging a grave in an old cemetery for a funeral when something caught his eye. Just a few steps away, a figure completely wrapped in white cloth stood motionless, staring with piercing eyes. At first, he thought it was a trick of the shadows, but the gaze was fixed on him, unblinking. The figure had emerged from a nearby grave. It was a Pokong. Frozen with fear, the worker couldn't look away. Realizing this wasn't just any spirit, he ended the video and quit the job. Even graves, meant for final rest, sometimes hide entities that refuse to stay buried.
Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Di belakang pohon besar. Di belakangnya kayak ada sosok lagi ya.
Coffin Ghost. This man never thought a camping trip would turn into the scariest memory of his life. While sitting near his tent, a ghostly figure appeared right beside him. It wasn't fully visible at first, but it looked like a bizarre figure wrapped in a coffin-like shroud. At first, he thought it was another camper playing a prank, but when he zoomed in on its face, it became clear it wasn't human at all. Its features were strange and unsettling. Terrified, he ran as fast as he could. Many compared it to a Pokong, the ghostly spirit from Indonesia and Malaysia, possibly emerging from an old graveyard nearby. Well, it's always better to research areas before venturing out at night. Clown Terror. A man visited the cemetery to see his wife's grave when he noticed something completely out of place. A clown standing among the tombstones, holding colorful balloons. At first, he thought it was some prank, but the sight was impossible in a cemetery. Things took a terrifying turn when houses nearby reported their children went missing shortly after the clown appeared. It seemed like the stories from Pennsylvania were real, not just movies. The clown was now hunting children. Authorities searched the area but couldn't find him. The fear in the town has never left, and parents now warn their kids to stay away from the graveyard at all costs. Faceless spirit. You may have attended many funerals, but nothing like this. One man noticed something strange in his camera while attending his friend's funeral. Suddenly, the footage revealed a bizarre figure, tall, skinny, and completely faceless. It seemed like a playful spirit was showing itself to the camera, moving in ways that made no sense. Funerals are places where many spirits may appear. Some find their way out, while others remain trapped in this world. Watching this figure on the screen was enough to send chills down anyone. Well, it was truly a haunting moment to witness. Tesla ghosts. You know The Conjuring was based on real incidents, right? Well, now a driver experienced something equally chilling. While passing near the infamous house and its graveyard, his Tesla's monitor picked up something eerie. Pale figures appeared on the screen, walking, roaming, as if trapped between worlds. The driver couldn't see anything with his own eyes, but the car's sensors detected them. These weren't ordinary glitches. Many think they were souls bound to the cemetery.
What the Oh.
Cursed to linger where their bodies rested. The driver felt unseen eyes watching him. Whatever haunted the house or graveyard didn't stay buried. It reached out to anyone who came too close. Coffin shift. This CCTV footage captured a moment that was both emotional and terrifying. In a coffin room, a coffin had been placed while the family was traveling from another country before the burial. But overnight, something strange happened. The coffin moved on its own, sliding slightly closer to the wall, even though no windows or air vents were open. When the family arrived and saw the footage, they were stunned. It seemed as if the man was calling them, asking for their presence to help him leave this world peacefully. After that, they said a final goodbye, and perhaps he was ready for his journey to the divine. Devil Watch. A man installed a CCTV camera in front of his recently deceased mother's grave, hoping to keep watch over her resting place. Late one night, while reviewing the footage, he noticed something terrifying. Sitting on the grave was a horned, devil-like figure. It slowly turned its head, scanning the area, almost as if it was guarding the grave. The figure stayed for only a few seconds before vanishing completely. Shocked and unable to process what he saw, the man immediately called for help. That brief moment on camera was enough to haunt him for many nights. Some presences are meant to remain unseen, but this one didn't care. Flag loyalty. A wife visited her husband's grave to offer her prayers, but something unusual caught her attention. The flag attached to his grave was moving, fluttering, as if it had a life of its own. She looked around. Other flags in the graveyard remained still. There was no wind, no disturbance, yet his flag kept moving. But what she revealed later made sense. Her husband had been an army officer, and she realized the movement was a message of loyalty. Even after passing, his spirit remained deeply connected to the symbol he had fought for. It was a final, silent sign that his heart still stood for his nation, even beyond life. Unseen farewell. You might have attended funerals, but none of you have witnessed this. A family gathered to say their final goodbyes when the sun leaned closer to the coffin. Suddenly, the white cloth covering the body moved, pulled back inside as if by an unseen hand. The family froze. The moment was chilling, yet oddly silent, like the spirit was listening to every word. It wasn't a movement to scare them. It felt like a final sign, letting them know he had truly left this world, but was still present in some way. That brief gesture was a haunting, unforgettable farewell. Chasing shadow. A ghost hunter decided to explore an old cemetery late at night. While checking his EMF meter, he noticed something strange. A silent lady sitting on a bench, completely still. When he called out, there was no response, as if she wasn't in the mood to answer.
Hello? Ma'am, do you need help?
Uneasy, he left the graveyard, thinking the encounter was over. Terrified, he barely escaped. Graveyards at night can be unpredictable. You might not be so lucky if you decide to visit. Haunted nun. Everyone in the village warned him not to go inside the abandoned church, but curiosity won. Locals said people who entered never came back, yet he ignored the stories and stepped inside alone. Using a flashlight, he walked past dusty benches while the silence felt heavy.
Hello? Hello?
He softly called out, and that's when he saw it. A nun sitting still, staring straight at him. She didn't move or speak. The moment felt locked in time.
Hello? Oh my God!
After that night, the man was never seen again. Only his recorded footage remained. Since then, no one has dared to enter the church. Restless hand. No one expected anything unusual during this final burial ceremony. Family members and mourners gathered to say their last goodbye as the coffin was prepared. While recording the moment, the camera focused on the small glass window on the coffin lid. That's when something shocking appeared. A pale hand pressed against the glass and slowly moved. Some explained it as a cadaveric spasm, a natural muscle movement after death, but the family believed otherwise. They felt the soul had not fully left the body and used its remaining energy to send one final sign to the mother. Until the coffin was covered with earth, the presence felt real, alive in spirit.
Sabda dalam kitab Yohanes, Akulah kebangkitan dan hidup. Barang siapa percaya kepadaku, ia akan hidup.
Grave pull. What was supposed to be a normal burial suddenly turned into chaos. People were gathered in a graveyard as a body was being lowered into a freshly dug grave. During the process, one man suddenly fell straight into the grave. Everyone assumed he slipped. The moment felt accidental. But later, when someone reviewed the video recording, a terrifying detail appeared. A hand was seen coming from inside the grave, pulling him down. Panic spread after that. Locals claimed the grave was already claimed by a cursed soul and should never have been opened. According to them, the spirit dragged the man in as punishment for disturbing its resting place. Morgue horror. Night staff never expected anything unusual inside the hospital morgue. CCTV cameras were running as usual when the footage captured something terrifying. A body lying on a stretcher suddenly moved its feet. Moments later, it looked like the body was trying to sit up on its own. There was no one else in the room. The movement did not look natural. When staff rushed to the morgue after noticing the footage, the stretcher was empty. The body was gone. No doors were forced open, and no alarms were triggered. Some staff believe the body had been possessed by something dark. To this day, no one knows where the body disappeared. Ritual pursuit. A girl was returning to her hotel late at night when she stopped her car after noticing something disturbing on the empty road. A man stood alone under the dim streetlight, performing what looked like a ritual, moving strangely, murmuring to himself. Curious and uneasy, she began recording.
By this time of the night, who is this person? I used to hear about sacrifice, people doing ritual.
The moment the man noticed her car, everything changed. He suddenly turned and rushed toward her at full speed. The recording cut off as she tried to escape. What happened next was never confirmed. No further footage surfaced, and the girl was never seen again. To this day, no one knows whether she escaped or if the ritual needed one final participant.
I think the person is moving towards me. God, blood of Jesus, the person is moving towards me.
Lifeless body awakens. People standing in the crowd didn't realize they were about to witness something disturbing. During a gathering in South Africa, a pastor was seen standing beside a lifeless body placed in front of everyone. The body showed no movement at all. The pastor began praying loudly, placing his hands on the body again and again. Minutes passed, and nothing happened. Then suddenly, the body moved. The person slowly sat up, shocking everyone present. Some screamed, others stepped back in fear. The video ended shortly after, but those who saw it say the moment felt wrong, as if something that should stay silent was forced to return. Cursed witch. A group of people went to explore the abandoned side of a graveyard in India, filming everything on their phones. As they moved deeper, they spotted a figure tied in old, tattered robes, swaying slightly. The sight was chilling, and the locals had long warned that this part of the graveyard was cursed. Some say it was a witch, bound and left behind, and her presence had driven people away over the years. The area remained deserted, and the video only added to its dark reputation. Those who saw the footage online were shocked, realizing some warnings are better left unheeded. Ghost child. Something strange appeared near a cemetery as a group of friends were passing by. At first, they thought it was just a person standing on a rock, but when they zoomed in with their camera, the truth froze them in place. It wasn't human at all, but a ghostly child in a white robe, silently watching. Terrified, they had no choice but to leave the area. Later, locals confirmed the spot was haunted, with spirits often reported by passers-by. This chilling encounter proved that some places keep secrets best left alone, and some spirits don't like being disturbed. Speedy spirit. In Karachi, Pakistan, a group of haunted video makers entered a cemetery at night and started a live stream to show the empty graves. While walking between the tombs, one team member suddenly stopped and said something had rushed past them at high speed. No one else saw anything at that moment. After the stream, they replayed the footage and zoomed in. That's when a pale, fast-moving figure appeared on screen, passing right in front of them. The figure was not human and vanished in seconds. The team left the cemetery immediately. That clip made one thing clear. Graveyards are not as empty as they look. Comforting ghost. A young man was sitting quietly at a grave, mourning someone close to him. He stayed still, head lowered, lost in his thoughts. What the camera later revealed changed everything. Standing right behind him was a faint, human-like figure. When the footage was slowed down, it appeared the figure gently moved its hand and stroked the man's head, almost like a calm gesture of comfort. The man never reacted, as if he could not feel it at all. Many felt it was the spirit of a loved one, staying close during his moment of pain. Strange turkeys. A very unusual sight was caught on camera at a cemetery, and it left everyone puzzled. A worker noticed 3 turkeys slowly circling a single gravestone, moving round and round without stopping. Their strange behavior seemed almost controlled by something invisible, so he decided to film it. Later, experts explained it was a survival instinct. If one turkey sensed danger or curiosity, it would circle, and the others copied automatically until they felt safe. Even knowing the reason, seeing this happen in a graveyard gave it a chilling feeling, as if the birds themselves were reacting to something unseen.